Gabe and Lei Norwood are a power couple to many. Both serves as inspirations to basketball players and moms alike for their passion and drive in doing what they do. Gabe is best known for his time playing professional basketball for the Rain or Shine Elasto Painters and Gilas Pilipinas, while Lei continues to inspire others through her work as a businesswoman and mommy influencer. The two have a beautiful family and continue to live with hard work and kindness.
Hi guys, and welcome to another episode of In Love With Me, where we feature inspiring individuals who share their amazing stories. I am your host, Mafae Velasco, and for this series, our topic is passion and purpose. For this episode, we have an empowered power couple and a professional basketball player and boss mama to motivate us to take action. So without further ado, let's welcome the amazing Gabe and Lei Norwood. Hi, Norwoods.
How are you doing? Good to see you. Long time no see.
Hello, hello. I know, right? Although I see you guys on Zoom every Friday with your kids joining Musa. Thanks for supporting Nick's passion also with basketball, of course. Gabe being a basketball player for almost 12 years, 13 years.
12.
But how amazing your career has been. I have to say belated happy anniversary. 7 years, last June 23, guys. And, you know, for me, I've been so inspired with the both of you separately and together as, you know, a young, beautiful, amazing couple. You know, you're great with your children. I know you guys have been busy during this quarantine period in empowering your children as well as yourselves. But before I ask you what you've been up to during this time, can you please share with us on how you are the empowered and inspiring people you are today? Ladies first, of course. Lei, can I ask you?
For me, I think it's just, I don't know, where do I begin? I don't even want to lift my own self up in that way. I think I just, I have a role that I'm blessed to have. And, you know, I just strive to do my best to live out that role as his wife, a mom, of course. And yeah, I mean, you know, before we got married or before I met Gabe, I was working. That's all I knew. Like right after school, I started working right away. And yeah, like that was my life for some time. I had a career in marketing, so like when I met Gabe, I was traveling a lot for work, and I was, you know, hardly in the Philippines. And I think, you know, obviously God's hand was in us meeting because it still happened even if I wasn't even here a lot. And yeah, like that's where our story begins. When we met, we basically stuck with each other, never parted. And then, yeah, so obviously, you know, this story, like we had our kids, and, you know, one by one. I think when you say empowered as an individual, to me, it would mean, you know, even if like the role is redefined, meaning before I was the marketing professional, you know, single woman. When I became a mom and then a wife, I think it just, you know, strengthened that, like all those titles that I had before, you know, I had those new titles take over as the stronger ones, but I was still me, and, you know, just found ways to still, with his support, still, you know, stay empowered through like you said, like just being part of a business, or, you know, supporting him in all his endeavors also. And but I think like the most important role is to be his wife and a mom of our 3 boys. And yeah, like now with the quarantine, I think, like as you said, the task is to keep the boys on track and just to be able to keep them entertained. And yeah, I think in the just in the daily activities that we have, we just try to keep them engaged and just also empowering them.
Yeah, for sure. Like Lei was saying, I think it's really huge for us in terms of our foundation. I think knowing that, I think a lot of it's, God's timing, right? When you meet your significant other, and naturally when Lei and I met, she was really established in who she was and her profession and things like that. And I was young in my career as well. So I think timing was a big role in the way that we've been able to empower one another, because we really found empowerment in ourselves. We really found our voice and who we were and what our weaknesses were. I think anybody that's ever met Lei and I, whatever my strength is, or my weaknesses are, she makes up for my weaknesses. You know what I mean? Those are usually her strong points and vice versa. So I think that's the way that we're able to empower one another and empower ourselves as parents with how we raise our children as well. So it's been kind of cool through the quarantine, as terrible as it's been, globally, but personally for a relationship to really take time to build and to continue to empower one another.
Let's bring it back to when you first met basketball, Gabe, because of course your career has been amazing. You've been part of the national team. You've been a captain to your teams, and a lot of the youth look up to you. I'm pretty sure your sons look up to you, and they want to be like you. So can you share a little bit on how that started? Because I know you're from a family of athletes, or sport has been always in your family.
Yeah, for sure. I was blessed to grow up around athletics in my home. My dad played college football, American football in the States, and is still currently a football coach. I'm the eldest of 5, so all of us were into, whether it was basketball, football, baseball, soccer, whatever was in season, the Norwood kids were basically playing. So with that, I found a lot of times my identity through sports. That's where I made my friends. That's where people knew me as Gabe, the athlete, and that was something that I really enjoyed. I enjoyed that attention, but the journey was definitely not easy. I moved around a lot as a kid at the same time, so a lot of the things that I thought should have been, I guess, a little bit more fluid in terms of my college decision, or the attention that I might have gotten from the next level was tough, just because I was all over the States. But it was a blessing. I only had one Division I offer in the States, and it ended up being George Mason University, which rolled into a Final Four appearance for us in college. For those in the States, it's like the top in terms of college athletics where you can get to in basketball. So we lost in the Final Four, but just the journey itself gained so much attention that it caught the eyes of coaches here in the Philippines that happened to be there at the camp or at the tournament, saw my mom, saw my Lola walking around, and took the time to really say, oh, is your kid playing or is your grandson playing? And from there, it's honestly, from that point on, I built a connection. I came out here in 2007, and with the national team right away. And it's just been a blessing to represent, my family, to come back and be the one to kind of carry the flag for us. It's been pretty cool.
Yeah, thank you for that. We were cheering you on. Like I told Jimmy yesterday, it was such a amazing feeling to know that you guys are like your arms reach are pretty much like family to us, and to know that you guys are carrying the flag for us. And I saw Lei cheering so much on the sideline, and your boys. So that was an amazing feeling. Even to have the games here in the Philippines, right? Because Jimmy did mention that you guys had a bit of a rough patch going to China and things like that, but then coming back to the Philippines and having the whole arena cheer for the Philippines is like, wow, right? Yeah. So going back to both of you, you traveled the world, or Philippines was somewhat your second home. How did it feel for you both on coming to, like, let's say, a place where you're not used to, leaving your comfort zone. I mean, for you, Lei, you always had to travel in and out. I'm sure that, you learned, or your horizons were, open, and coming back to the Philippines is like an uncomfortable situation sometimes. What was you guys, I guess, mindset or motivation to just say, okay, the Philippines is also an opportunity for me, and I need to make sure that I'm strong enough to, like, be thankful for being here?
Yeah, I guess
Maybe Lei?
You want to go first?
Go ahead.
For me,
Sorry.
I've always been from here. I grew up here. I grew up in Davao, actually. So this is home. I'm very much used to every aspect of home, every aspect of being Filipino. So, even when, as you said, my horizon was broadened, I still, obviously this is home for me. And when I met Gabe, we actually had that in common. He said he moved around a lot. For me, it was something like that, to where, like, I would stay, like, in Davao and Manila. Like, I would stay because my mom was a single mom, so I would stay in, like, all my cousins' houses, and I just didn't really have, like, a permanent address, sort of. And then, eventually when I started working, I kind of had that, like, kind of just being everywhere, like, always being in transition, which is something that he's always experienced. So I think, going back to your question, there's just always been this, we're comfortable with adapting and having to adjust to, like, different unique situations, good or bad. And I think being Filipino, like, even for Gabe, I think that's a good common ground for both of us. It's new to him. This has always been home for me, but, not to speak for him, but I think that's what I thought was a good kind of middle ground for us.
Yeah, that was definitely the bridge, just in terms of, Manila is actually the longest I've lived in any one city. I grew up in the States and was always on the move. The longest I lived in one place, I think, was like 4 or 5 years, where my dad was working at different universities, so we'd pick up and move all the time, just the life of a coach and his family. But I think that also prepared me in transition to come here. Even when I, before we met, and the 2 years I was here, basically before we met, I was able to adapt in the sense of really just respecting people. I think respecting people, respecting culture, respecting your surroundings. So I think that just came from me moving around all the time and always being the new kid, basically everywhere I was. So I think that was the bridge that kind of made our bond even stronger, in terms of just being able to communicate things and really enjoy our travel at the same time, but also being able to call Manila home.
It was amazing. I see in all your posts, your beautiful pictures of your family. You get to travel with the kids, and it seems like you're doing what you were doing before with them now. And I'm sure, as parents of your 3 amazing boys, how does that make you feel, knowing that you have 3 beautiful blessings that you have created in this life?
We talk about it all the time. It's one of, I'm sure you and Nick are the same way. Just you have those instances throughout the course of your day where it's just like, wow, you know what I mean? Those wow moments. It could be simply them sitting there eating lunch, or as they go to bed and they're sleeping. It's just an amazing feeling to know that even though our individual backgrounds and upbringings may have been different, that we're able to come together and bring life into this world and raise them our way, and the qualities that we've built through our own individual lives. So yeah, like you said, it's just an extreme blessing. It's kind of cool for me personally to have 3 boys.
Girls are good too,
So I've heard. So, yeah, it's
still time.
All right. Nah.
Yeah, you're gonna be the queen forever in your family.
Yeah.
I thought I was. It's so good. But yeah, so speaking of that, you mentioned you had, like, different upbringings. So for you, maybe Lei, you think that having your mom and seeing how she was as a parent to you helped shape you as a mom now?
Well, definitely, because like I think seeing or being part of an unconventional, growing up in a more unconventional family setup, like it it allows you to understand like how, you know, it's not always the same for everybody, where it's not mom, dad, children, you know, all staying in the same home. Like sometimes it doesn't happen that way. And yeah, it's like, of course, you know, it's not like you think, okay, this must be normal. Like, you know, it happens and it's a part of life. However, like I strived, I think I saw that and I strived for something that was different, which is, you know, I would definitely want to have somebody, a partner, to be able to, like, you know, raise our children with together. And yeah, I guess it helped me appreciate and form sort of my my own understanding of what I hope to have one day, to be blessed with one day.
And of course, each child is different, right? Every pregnancy is different. So,
Sure.
you know, what was the challenges that you found? Like, I mean, you know, with kids, I think the number one rule is what I've learned is not to compare the kids.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, it's something that also it will cause their mental health and things like that. With you, what would be? I mean, you have amazing children anyway. I'm sure you don't have that many challenges, but what was the biggest challenge for you?
I think with every and I'm sure you know this too, like with every stage, you know, there's a unique set of challenges. Like, you know, with the toddler like ages, like, okay, like they're all over the place and things like that. They have to understand your authority. I think for us now, Cash and Noah are 9 and 8, so it's that in between. They're not like teenagers yet, but you know, they're starting to become their own individual. And I think it's just a matter of really establishing like the what we want them to be equipped with as they get into that next stage. So I think it's a really crucial age, you know, where their values and morals, like it's all going to be instilled in them, like their faith and how they treat people. So for us, those are the most important things, and we want them to be able to learn the right way.
And for you, Gabe, you come from a big family. So is it easier for you to adapt to having 3 kids, or even, you know, more than one as a dad?
I think it definitely put me in a position to, you know, especially being the oldest. So, you know, my parents were young parents. They were, I mean, there's really no, even hearing Lei say like unconventional or conventional, I mean, in terms of even timing, there's no conventional or unconventional time, right? Like my parents were basically teenagers when they had me and my brother Jordan were back to back, and then, you know, there's a gap between the next 3 kids, but a lot of that my dad and my mom also instilled in myself and my brother Jordan, kind of being being good examples, being the kind of the extension of my parents with my younger 3 siblings. So actually, it's wild I just said that because I have younger 3 and we have 3 kids. I just honestly thought about it as I said it, but yeah, I think it definitely put me in a position to just really understand my strengths in terms of how I can, you know, communicate with them and kind of maximize their potential and things that they can do. But also, like I said, once again, knowing how Lei can present things in different ways that is just as useful and just as productive. So they definitely need to hear both of our voices in terms of really understanding, and I'm sure they probably process things differently depending on who's speaking to them as well.
Well, you guys are the best teachers to understand your kids. So, you know, most especially right now, I guess everybody is somewhat forced to homeschool. So how's that going for you guys?
It's funny.
You can ask the principal.
No,
I'm just the PE coach. I'm the PE teacher. That's it.
Oh my gosh.
You know, it's funny. I thought of you too because I know you've always homeschooled, and we're making that transition to homeschooling this coming September.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you're gonna hear from me because I have some questions. But yeah, I think we've always been open to it because I think we just want we like the how it can be more adaptable, and like we can, you know, if we have to leave, we can take it with us. And I mean, the number one thing is to be the main teacher, as you said, to be the number one like source of knowledge and the guidance counselor
Mhm.
of the kids. Yeah, so I think the pandemic happening definitely was what gave us that push. Um, and we're excited, a little scared. I think it's definitely worth it. It will allow us to be even more intentional with how and what we teach the kids, and it's exciting with a bit of pressure
For sure.
attached to it.
Yeah, of course. I mean, like, you know, even with my experience, it's been quite some time and I have different levels. So trust me, at the beginning, it's always tough. But when you see the changes in your children and you see their passions come out, for me, honestly, what I loved about it is that my kids were able to be honest and transparent with me. And I think that's really key. Like you were mentioning earlier, that your, your two older sons are in between. There are times, I mean, growing up, you think about it, there were times that I was quiet, like I didn't want to talk to my mom. When I saw my kids never, like they never stopped talking, I was like, oh, this is what they mean, you know? So I think that when it gets quiet, that's when it gets scary. But with what I've learned with homeschooling, it's like the communication skills of the kids really come out, and I guess they feel at ease to communicating with mom and dad. Like, you know, of course, we're going to tell them the real answers. You know, the challenge right now, of course, is all answers or Google is arm's reach. They can just Google anything instead of asking us. So I'm already going to be praying for you guys, because this is the best decision that you guys are going to make. I mean, you are building pro athletes. I mean, I'm pretty sure if you do your research, Tim Tebow was a homeschooler up until college. Yeah. So that was, I think for us, that was one thing that, you know, kind of encouraged Nick, because he was the one that was not so comfortable with it, which is, I mean, all of us went through traditional schooling, so it's really tough to like go there. And you know, before, there's so many people telling us, "Oh, why are you doing that?" You know, especially like my parents, even, or the old school people. It's like, well, this is what we're doing. So you know, whether if it's not going to go the right way, then yes, it's our fault. But regardless, it's our choice. So with you guys, I know you'd be amazing. I mean, you guys are really hands-on with your kids anyway. So, I mean, with that, let me go back to Gabe. Being a professional athlete, I know you have these rituals and habits to prepare you, to hype you before a game. So can you share what those are? I mean, apart from Lei cooking you that amazing meals that she always posts, what else? What else do you do? Because
for me, I think it's actually changed. You know, just like, you know, when I was single and first out here, it was just, you know, just music nonstop throughout the course of the day, just to get me locked in and get me ready. Music, you know, getting dressed at home, to in the car, to headphones in the dugout. Like that's all I really needed. But now it's kind of changed in the sense of, naturally you have your family and daily routines, whether it's waking up and, you know, getting the kids ready, if it's during school and things like that. But I'm lucky to have like an awesome teammate over here. You know, the Pba schedule is pretty nonstop. So game days for me, I usually am allowed to sleep in. I sleep in, get a good rest, and like you said, it's usually, I'll throw in a shout out on Lei's meals. It's usually just a light meal. I don't like to eat real heavy. I know some guys like to eat like a lot to where they have a lot to burn during a game. But for me, I eat like super light. Like I'll have maybe brunch or a sandwich or something, and then some fruit. And it's really like my only meal before a game. And then after the game is where I everything. But outside of just really rest and, you know, maybe some music, some 90s hip hop or R&B before a game usually gets me set.
Question is for both of you. So, being strong individuals, your personality and your just strength on exploring the world, who were your motivation, inspiration, or people that you looked up to that helped shape you on being that strong individual?
You go first.
Well, for me personally, it would definitely be my parents. On my dad's end would be more from the angle of faith and really his foundation and his belief that he instilled in all of our children, all of his children, was really just an awesome example to not just like learn about faith and having a journey and a personal relationship with God, but also seeing how he was able to overcome, obstacles as a young father, as a young parent, and all the things that have gone ahead of him. But also for my mom, just knowing, she got pregnant with me as a freshman in college and had to step aside from her education and the sacrifices that she made in that sense to not just sacrifice for us, but also for my dad, who was able to finish school, finish his college football career, and lead that into a profession where he's been able to provide for his family for, until all the kids are out of the house. So definitely for me, my parents, my mom and dad.
Lei?
For me, it was definitely my lolo, because so my mom was a single mom, like I said. So my dad wasn't around since I was 7. So he's basically like the dad, like the father figure I've only ever known. Yeah, he and my Lola raised me, but I was like particularly like close to him. And, he just taught me, like I think all of like the basic skills that I have, like I mean just as a kid, like appreciating, learning all the time. Like if there's something you don't know, learn. And back then, I mean, during that time, it wasn't that long ago, but we didn't have Google. So, we had to really like heavily read and do research. And yeah, my Lolo was an educator. He was actually like, he like led the public school district in Davao. So he was really heavy on, learning. And I think even before I got to be exposed to the world, I learned a lot about the world from him. And, that almost that thirst to know more about the world, not just from reading about it, but to actually experience it.
Was he a basketball fan?
Mm-hmm. He was also a basketball fan, which I think that definitely played into, because there really wasn't any other sport that I was exposed to, like since I was a kid, other than basketball. But any other Filipino would say that. But he was watching the NBA, everything. So I think that definitely, yeah, that planted.
So yeah. Speaking of basketball, of course, basketball fans have fun watching basketball. This is probably a question for Lei. Now that you dated Gabe, I'm sure that was a different feeling. Of course, it's a bigger, a lot more about the game and about his career. How do you level your stress? Because for me, I couldn't do it in the beginning. But as a wife of an athlete, you see the behind the scenes, so you're more invested in watching a game. It's not just watching. You're praying for them not to get hurt. You're praying for them. You're praying for so many things. So for you, how do you balance that?
I mean, it's been a while since I watched like a game of his, but I think it, like you said, like with every, like as the years pass, like from the time I watched him live for the first time up until now, I think I naturally know more about the game and the technicalities and all that. But it would range from yeah, like getting mad at the calls or you know this. Just yeah, like constantly like, wait, is he okay? Like if he fell, you know, things like that.
Yeah.
Just constantly like having, you know, theories in your head as to, oh, how come this isn't the play they did? I don't understand. As if you're some analyst,
The
right?
coach.
Coaching from backseat coach.
It makes the car ride home extremely entertaining, depending on if we
Yeah, I'm gonna be like, but that was a foul. And he's like, well, no. Okay.
Oh, that was so funny. But imagine though, like, you know how we watch these reality TVs on, you know, in America. Imagine like people following us here, like how funny it would be. I mean, for me, like Nick, he would always get mad at me. Can you just stop? That's my job. You sit there and take care of the kids, okay? Okay. You know, it's just funny to talk about it now, but I mean, you can't help it. I mean, it's the man that you love that's on the court fighting for the family. It's like you feel like, dang, I'm part of that. I'm part of that. But really, he's right. Yes, that's his job. He will do the best that he can. We just have to sit there and cheer and smile and pretend that we're not mad.
Or just.
But you know what? Yeah, but you know what? Like, I think you can probably also attest to this. Like, the kids, they feel it. I guess it's my fault too, as just being the way I am. The kids got really emotionally involved also. Like, of course, it's their dad. Nico will probably get a bit mad at me later, but he was the one that me and him would tag team. And then if we lose, he would cry. And I wouldn't know what to say. I would like tell Nick, hey, you got to talk to your son, because he's like really, really sad about it. So I know your kids also get emotional like that. What would you guys do to give them advice? Because not, you know, you can't win all games. That's just a given.
Yeah, for us that would be Cash, because Cash, like, even as young as like 2, he was already invested. We have multiple videos of him crying, and one time it even like got like posted and like just, you know, reposted a lot. Because I guess he cried. He lost in like a.
It was FIBA. It was a FIBA.
There was a FIBA one. There was one where, so he was playing against San Miguel.
Oh, we lost in the
and like he was crying in the stands, and like Chris Ross, or you know, our friend from San Miguel, went over and was comforting him. So it was just funny, like, all the footage of that. But I think, well, he's still. I guess he's getting better at understanding the game, so I think maybe he won't just cry out of nowhere, but he's still emotional and he would still be sad for his dad. Oh, okay, actually I can say one thing. So he was actually nominated for Cash for the dunk of the decade by FIBA. So I think like he made it a little far, and then he lost to Iran. Like this was just like a week ago. Yeah. When he found out, and this is just, I mean, you know, it's not like it's announced or anything. You just see it online, and he just started crying
on the spot. On the spot. But I think a good point to that too. Just as parents, I think it's big to, especially as for a man. I'll just speak from the man standpoint. You know, a lot of time pride gets in our way, right? We think we're not supposed to cry, or we're not supposed to, you know, express that type of emotion. So I think sometimes, even with us, whether it's Cash or Izzy, I think we've learned to give them a little time to cry. So, you know what I mean? Not all the time. Like, we're not perfect. You know, naturally our instinct kicks in, and you want them to tell them to stop. But a lot of times, especially when it comes to sports, I think we've learned to kind of let them have that moment. Like, it's okay to care that much. You know what I mean? It's okay to really express that. And, you know, it's funny in certain points, you know, Cash takes it to the limit and pushes it past the limit, and we have to, you know, reel him back in. But, you know, at least, you know, they care. Just like, you know what I mean? It could be different.
He's passionate. I mean, he sees you work hard, so of course he's looking up to you, and he feels it. Like, damn, my dad lost. That's not fair.
Yeah.
But you know, speaking of that, Gabe Norwood is a respected athlete in the Philippines and possibly internationally, playing for Gilas. And you know, I think you would be the best, one of the best people to answer this question on how will you advise your sons on, you know, receiving comments. Just like I think I was talking to Topex or Jimmy about this, but my own kids will always receive comments from the, you know, Filipinos, Philippine fans. Oh, you're Nick Velasco's son. You're supposed to make it. You know, you're supposed to be good. So for you, what would be your advice to your children when, you know, these comments will come sooner or later? When, and then they hear it. Of course, they're still young right now. They don't understand it. But when it comes to that point, how will you guide them on answering or avoiding that kind of comments?
I mean, I guess it's something that you can't really run from, right? As much as you want to try to avoid it or kind of, you know, dodge those kind of comments and things like that. But I think for me personally, it's just understanding that the expectations come from a good place. You know what I mean? It's not like it could be a lot worse. They could be expecting you to do bad things or expecting you, you know what I mean? Like, so for me, I think it's really just trying to instill in them that they're their own individual person. As much as they carry the Norwood name, you know, there's no specific person like them. You know, I have tattooed on my back, I have Ephesians 2:10 from the Bible, which is basically, for we are God's masterpieces created anew in Christ Jesus to do the good things that he's planned for us long ago. So with that, you know, each individual, whether it's myself, Lei, you, Mafae, our children, we're all masterpieces, you know what I mean? So I think I really try to instill that in them, and as individuals and as a group, as brothers, that, you know, people are going to say things, you can't please everybody, but at the end of the day, you're your own masterpiece, your own person.
And I'm sure you somewhat lived through that because your dad also was in the professional platform.
Yeah.
So for you personally, did you feel pressure to be successful like your dad?
I don't know if, I think we were competing so much, just even within ourselves. Myself, you know, my brother Jordan, another Division I athlete, a Super Bowl champion in the States. My brother Levi also played Division I athletics. My sister, competitive dance. And my youngest brother had a short stint, you know, in terms of trying to make college basketball work. So I think the pressure was pushed aside and turned into competition. You know what I mean? I think we were constantly, whether we were playing or staying active in sports, to where it was hard to really dwell on it. I really don't know if I thought like, man, my dad's coaching, I have to make the sports thing work. I think I just wanted to. I think that's just what I wanted to do. And my dad never put pressure on me. Like I quit playing American football my freshman year of high school and thought my dad was going to be so upset. Like I was terrified to tell him. And when I did, it was like that relief, right? Like you go to your parents with a concern and they understand. And my dad, it was not a problem with him at all. So I think right there in that moment, I knew there was really, my thought of never having pressure was confirmed in that moment because there was no pressure for me.
That's amazing because, you know, of course, your children are very athletic. I see them. I mean, Lei now has become a soccer mom, a basketball mom. Are they doing swimming too? I mean, I'm pretty sure you're the biggest cheerleader. And that alone keeps you busy as a mom, you know?
Yeah.
So speaking of that, I think someone heard us speaking about what was going on earlier as, you know, supportive wives. So there's someone here that wants to say hi to you guys. Real quick. Hello.
Hey.
Hey.
Hey. What's up, Gabe and Lei?
How are you?
How are you? How's it going?
Life is
Hope
good.
you guys are safe out there.
Yeah, same to you guys.
Yeah. So how's the layoff treating you? What's keeping you busy? I'm sure you might have covered that already, but
No, we didn't too much. It's just
we haven't yet.
Yeah, just trying to stay as active as we can. You know, they kind of open up the court here and the pool, so we've been able to get outside a little bit more and run around. But you know, Lei's done a great job of keeping us locked in. As much as we want to just you know what I mean, take some chances and get out there. I think just trying to do the safest thing as possible. But, you know, Lei also has been doing everything. She's Mrs. Green Thumb. She has plants all over the place.
Yeah, I see that. Her plants, her coffee.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm inspired every day.
Right.
Now you know how hard she works all day, every day.
For sure. A whole new level of respect.
Well, I think, you know, the quarantine, like, it just allows us to tap into like things that we're already passionate about. Yeah, and it gave us more time. So I think it's just a matter of maximizing that time, you know, not letting that go to waste. You know, even if the world is somewhat frozen, like we can still, you know, we can still learn and be productive, and yeah, the kids too. So I guess the initial challenge, like you said, was staying active. So, you know, we were really happy when you told us about Nick's online, the Zoom.
I'm glad.
Yeah, because like before that, they were actually not even like doing anything basketball related. Yeah, and you know how, like you said, they were so busy before with all kinds of sports that we were definitely missing that. And I miss, you know, taking them to all these things. I was just saying that the other day. It's weird, not, you know, like going from point A to point B to point C in one day, you know, taking the kids to all their activities. But I think, you know, we still find the silver lining, you know, in this situation and make it work somehow.
Yes, exactly.
Well,
thanks to Musa.
I think it's great though that people are finding the positivity in this whole situation, because there's so much negative going on. But when you can teach your kids what you can find and pull from that's positive, and everyone's taking time to spend, you know, quality time together, movie nights, educational things. Everyone's forced to homeschool now. So for the families, I think it's been great. At least those that are doing it smart, you know, like you guys. My next step is trying to do some plants in the house too. So I might have to consult you on that.
Hey,
but I want some greenery.
All I do, Lei gets it started, and all I do is just water every day. All I got, I haven't killed too many plants, so I'm good.
Hey, that's therapeutic though. That watering the plants, that's therapeutic. Just watching them grow. Yeah. So it's pretty awesome. And I had so much fun coaching the kids. I'll get back on it this weekend. I've been busy, but I'll get back on it this weekend.
For sure.
I also ran out of drills and stuff. There's only so many drills you could do in a 5x5 foot area.
Yeah.
So, but Mike took over. He's been doing good with it. My son Mike. So it's all good. But hey, man, I just wanted to jump in real quick and tell you how impressed I am with your career. And I mean, I was here when you first came in, like you and Saul and all those guys, and just to see you guys develop. You know, you and Joe DeVance, you guys are doing it so big. You guys are the leaders and the vets now, and us older guys are out of the picture. So, and I knew it was time to go. I'll keep telling this story. I knew it was time for me to go when Gabe was coming at me full speed on a fast break, and you know I'm a defensive player, so I knew I had him stopped, and he just did this little shifty crossover, and he was gone. I was like, man, I couldn't even give him a hard foul. That's how fast he was gone past me. So that was a little frustrating, and it was a sign that it's time for me to step out and let these young guys do their thing.
Oh man, hey, we appreciate you too. I'll just speak from the basketball side. I really appreciate you how you just welcomed me when I first got out here, man, and really just, you know, pulled me aside a couple times and told me, you know, just how things go down, what to adjust, and how to maintain and create a long career. So definitely appreciate you, man.
I know I shot a few elbows too, but I mean, that's how I was brought into the league as well.
Hey, it's only right. It's only right.
But hey, I got to go. Love you guys, and I'll see you on the next Busa with your kids.
Yes, sir.
Right.
See you this weekend.
Peace.
Thank you, Nick. Anyways, he always loves to surprise, especially if, you know, it's a fellow athlete on board this campaign. So with that, guys, before we wrap up, can you please share with us your words of wisdom to fellow dads, fellow moms, you know, athletes, aspiring businesswomen, especially at a time like this, on how they can stay hopeful and inspired during this time? Yes.
Yeah, I think, for me, I would go back to what I was saying earlier, that is something that I learned from my grandfather, which is always take every opportunity to learn, especially during this time. I think this is an opportune time to really equip yourself with things that you may have wanted to learn more about, or like Nick was saying earlier, plants. um, it would not only equip you with something new, it would empower you, because you realize, like, wow, like I can do this. And you never know, it could even turn into a business. You might do so well that you could start selling it, something like that. But I think even if you don't end up having it as a business, you learn something from it. And that I feel that even if it's not something that would benefit you immediately, it would benefit you in the long run. And if you have children, they would even see you doing that and be inspired by you and want to learn from you. So I think no time is wasted, despite times being like this. It feels like everything is stalled, but you don't have to feel stalled. You can still continue to grow and learn.
Yeah, and for me, you stole mine. I was going to go
sorry.
on education on that route, but I think it's also key, just with the time that's available now. I think it's a really awesome opportunity to build relationships, to mend relationships, and I think people are really open to speak right now. I feel like just from relationships and conversations I've had, just be able to solidify things, to reach out to people that you may not have reached out to in a while. Like, the opportunities are there now. Everybody, for the most part, is home. I'm sure they'd love to hear from you, whether it's family or friends or ex-teammates and work buddies, things like that. I think it's an awesome opportunity to really regroup, reach out to people who probably want to hear your voice as much as you want to hear theirs. So a cool chance to create and mend and relationships.
Oh, I love all that, guys. That's definitely what people need to hear right now. And before I share my take homes from both of you, maybe you have any shout outs to friends and family that you haven't seen for a while.
Not for sure. Just all the Norwood, Valoria, Hardy, Rendon, Therinil family out there. We love you. We hope to see you soon, and we're definitely praying for everybody.
Yeah, I think.
Did I reach everybody?
Yeah,
My bad.
you already covered.
You covered the family tree.
Yeah, my bad. I hit all the branches.
That's all right. You guys are an amazing couple, and thank you for taking the time to be with me today. Again, take homes from Gabe and Lei, that it's always God's plan and timing for everything that happens in our lives. We just have to be always thankful. Having a foundation is key, knowing your identity, having a big support system, your family and friends. Reach out to them now, because they're the ones that will empower you, inspire you, and make your happy hormones be boosted at this time. What Lei said, learning is key. So use this time wisely. Don't waste it. There's so much things, so many workshops, free webinars just like this for you guys to learn from. Write down those dreams that will that you want to become reality. I mean, this is the time to really plan out your life and take the opportunity to know and be inspired by the people that you look up to. I mean, whether it be your mom and dad, your family, this is a time to communicate. It's a time to ask them questions. It's part of learning. And main thing, what Gabe said, it's also a time of building the relationships. Even though they're already strong, it's okay to reach out to them. Men, the ones that have been distant, I won't say broken, because you still have a chance. You still have time to reach out to those people, because you love and care for them, and that you have had history. You've had memories. So build those memories up again. So with that, guys, again, Norwoods, thank you so much. Hugs and kisses to your amazing boys. We'll keep in touch. I'll see you on Friday or Saturday again over Zoom. And again, from the Norwoods, actions speak louder than words. And thank you for tuning in this episode of In Love With Me. Thanks, guys.
Yes.
Thank you for watching In Love With Me series.